This is Elaine Kitchell from the Elaine Kitchell Fish Keeping Appreciation household, and today we're going to open a box from Wet Spot. I have a rainbow tank and I ordered some rainbows. I'm kind of pushing the pH limits and the dissolved solid limits here with these fish. And before we can add them to the tank, we need to know what kind of packaging they're in, what kind of bags, and so that will determine what we do with them from that point. So let's open and see what kind of bags they're in. It's kind of a small box for 3 bags of fish. Stop, important information. Oh, this is the notice that once you take them out of the bag, they're no longer, what's the word I want?
Guaranteed.
They're no longer guaranteed. So if there are any deaths, we have to document those inside the while they're still inside the bag. Okay, here's the heat pack, I think. Lots of paper insulation in here, and they are inside a nice little styrofoam box as well. So it looks to me as though they've been packed pretty well.
Doesn't look like there is a heat pack.
That blue thing I thought was the heat pack.
Did it feel warm?
Yes, it did. Okay, so these are threadfin rainbow fish, Erantheurina werneri, and they're little yellow things. Fortunately, they're in a bag that contains air, so this means we can float them to acclimatize them. So there are the werneri, and let's see, I can't tell if there are any dead ones or not. I need my glasses. Dwayne is going to check them out and see if there are any dead ones.
They look alive.
Do they all look alive?
Yep, 2, 4, 6.
Okay. Good. So we have live fish in the werneri bag. Here is our Plecostomus, which I think is dead. Oh no, there he goes. This is a Ancestris, and it's the super red, and I don't know if you can see a little orange blob in there. He's real small. He's only about 1 inch long.
You're holding it up so high.
I'm sorry, I'm holding it too high.
Moving around the camera to keep up with you.
So see the little orange thing?
Yeah, he's doing fine. 1.25 inches.
Yeah, he's about 1.25 inches, and he's bright orange. So we really need him in our tank because he will help with the algae. We want some algae in the tank because this next batch of fish that's in here are vegetarians, and so we want algae in the tank, but we don't want quite as much as we've got right now. The shrimp have been busy cleaning lots of algae, but we still need a little more help, so that's why we got the little orange fish, the little Plecostomus. Okay, and next we have the Gertrudii rainbow fish, and I ordered 8 of them, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are probably 8 in there. There's the 8th one. Okay. And these are the threadfin. I'm sorry, these are the Gertrudii. The other ones were the threadfin rainbow fish. And as I said, we're kind of pushing the limits on water hardness and dissolved solids. We may have a disaster. I don't know. But we will find out. So, thumbs up for Wet Spot. Their packaging. The time of arrival was less than 12 hours from ordering, and looks like nice fish too. So we'll keep you posted from this point on.
Okay, guys, we're going to plop and drop these fish. Our water temperature is almost dead on the same. You have a pair of scissors there, honey?
Yes.
Nice double bagging. Sure are little.
Sure are. I think they're full grown.
No, they're not even close.
I think so.
All right, when you plop and drop, you just pour water that they come in through a net, catch the fish. Good bag, make sure there's nothing in it.
Don't see anything in it. Okay, 8 of them. Now those are they're Trudy.
Watch them closely. See if they show immediate signs of stress.
Well, that one there did some kind of a strange cartwheel.
Running from the breakox.
As soon as they get their shoal together, they won't have to run as much.
And let's get the Placostomus in.
I'm gonna name him Ernie.
Ernie the Placostomus.
Seems like a Pleco name, doesn't it? No leak in the bag there.
Yeah, a small amount of water coming out of it. He was single bagged. It's interesting.
No, you just took him out of another bag.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. That's a good thing too, since there was a leak in that bag. There he goes, right to the bottom. Dwayne's saving water from the bag that the threadfin rainbows are in.
Really jumping.
Yep, 6 of them came out. So we're keeping an eye on these fish, trying to see if they show signs of stress. And it looks to me as if the Gertrudes are settling into the middle strata of the tank. That's where there's not very much current. They ideally like to hang out near the top, but there's a little bit too much current up there. We need to put some floating plants up there, and
209 on the TDS, so that's not near as bad as I was expecting.
not too bad.
So they only had to come up 160.
So our dissolved solids were not as high as we thought they were?
No, their dissolved solids were a lot higher than we thought they were.
Oh, their dissolved solids, okay. Yeah, big
The
fish
praycocks are going for it, and that will inspire the other fish to recognize that there's something in there for them to eat. So, you know, it'll end up in the water column here pretty quick. And when it's in the water column, the little teeny pieces may get eaten by those fish. You see how they're responding to the fact that the praycocks are going to the surface? They're looking up
they're
too.
looking, yeah, but they're not eating.
Well, it's because they don't recognize it yet. They're still not recognizing it as food.
That Gertrude went for a piece, but it was too big.
Yeah. So they'll work on little stuff.
Come on, babies. You can see it flying by. Let's not recognize it as food.
Yeah, it's not.
They've probably been fed live food.
Yeah, they probably have. And I've got some frozen Daphnia, which we can try, but I don't want to flood that tank with frozen Daphnia if they're not going to eat. I just want them to all see what feeding is like and how the water flows and where the food goes and stuff like that.
Some of the Gertrudes are getting some now. I just saw one. Whoops, he spit it back out.
Well, maybe, you know, that's probably how it's going to go. They may pick it up and spit it out, pick it up and spit it out for a little bit.
I think this Gertrude's a male with all the black markings on him.
They're beautiful little fish. I've sat there and looked at their marking.
And the fins on the Warner eyes are so beautiful.
Yeah, they go.
Come on, let's get some chow. There's still a lot up at the top.
Well, it's probably going to have to sink for them to really go after it. And I put enough in there where it's going to float around for a while too. So maybe eventually they'll, you know, get a little nibble of it and recognize it as food before it gets sucked to the filter.
Oh, that thread tail just ate a piece. Spit part of that. But he's recognizing food now, so. We really did give him a bunch.
Yeah, we gave them too much. But I wanted to overfeed so that there would be some that sunk down low enough for the...
Well, we have shrimp and a pleco that'll get those that land on the bottom.
Like those done nothing but chew algae since he got in there.
I know. I'm so tickled with him. He's so cute. I hope he comes up to the front sometime so we can get a picture of him.
I just saw him go across the back glass. He'll clean that back glass and then
Yeah.
he'll get up here and start cleaning the front. They seem to prefer to get the stuff off glass before they do the rocks and the
It's
plants.
probably easier.
Yeah.
Although he was really working this rock here for a while.
Yeah, well, that's right where he first started.
Mhm. He won't touch that slimy blue stuff. These Gertrudes have funny little orange fins way up on the top of their body,
The top of their...
right behind their eyes.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed our female with the damaged tail,
Yeah.
she just ate quite a bit. I was watching her.
Well, that's good.
And the males of the Werner eyes are starting to show their colors. So that means they're adjusting, doesn't it?
Yeah. The more color they show, the happier they are.
Yeah, the two big males were showing they have some orange fins
Yeah.
by their anal fin.
Yeah.
And they were showing the orange, and they were showing their stripes real well too. The male Gertrude, the big one, you can see his stripes real well too.
Yep. I was watching them.
So I think they are starting to acclimate. And there's one of the thread fins with a big old chunk of food in her mouth. Get their bellies full and they'll be a lot happier. They are continuing to eat.
Yeah,
As
that's why I
that
put so
stuff
much
falls
in there
down.
so that there would be some
Yeah.
floating around. And when it softens up good enough, they can take a bite out of it, and then the other ones will go after the... Some of the stuff is vegetation, and they don't really... Most of them don't really eat that.
No, the Werner eyes will, if it's small enough, but they have the smallest mouths of all the rainbow fish.
Yeah.
So their stuff has to be very, very fine. They eat mostly diatoms and rotifers and things like that are in the water.
Well, we're going to find plenty of diatoms and hopefully some rotifers that are in the water. I mean, the tank is several months old now, so it's seasoned enough that there should be a lot of that stuff in it. Plus, all these plants probably bring stuff with them.
Probably so. Oh look, there's a yellow shrimp right on that leaf there, of that little round leaf plant. Did you see that already?
Yeah. You can just barely see him at the tip of the leaf in this video.
So what I'm figuring out, I hope I'm not wrong, is that after they molt, they're sort of colorless or light colored, and as their carapace and their shell gets harder, it turns darker. Is that right?
No, they really
No?
going to come out of the molt. I mean, as they're molting, they'll be a little milky looking.
Uh-huh.
But when they molt, after they molt, they're going to be the same color.
Oh, so that shrimp is just always going to be sort of limey green, limey yellow.
Well, maybe. I mean, their full adult coloration is probably not the same as their juvenile.
Oh, I see.
That shrimp's obviously still juvenile.
He moved
Yeah,
over.
he's,
I think he moved to the nearby plant covered with algae.
yeah, I can see him moving again.
Yeah, I can see his tail.
There's one swimming again, going into this plant right here. It's all the way. It's on top of the sponge filter now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it.
Went down the back side. At some point, if they breed and there's more of them, we'll have to add some kind of little dish for them to eat out of. Of course, the rainbow fish will probably all decide it's their food and try to eat it, but
We've got all kinds of tiny dishes.
well, but I'm talking, that big and Pyrex probably. I've been looking every time I go to the store.
I got whiskey glasses, whiskey shot
Yeah, but
glasses.
you don't want something that deep. It
You don't
needs
want
to
it
be
that
just
deep.
really shallow, but just enough with a lip on it to. They use those petri dishes to feed with, but in this instance, one, there's not enough open space for that to happen, and two, that'll just let all the other fish come eat too.
Yeah, so
I think
do you
what I'll
want?
start doing is with your mix, I'll start adding a couple of the Lucas's colored tetracolor bites in there, and then they'll hopefully fall to the bottom, and the shrimp will get those.
Well, the shrimp are going to have a lot to work on after today, with all the stuff that went to the bottom,
Yeah, a lot of it'll end up on
including
this
that
filter.
one dying fish. If she died, I haven't seen her.
No, I counted 14.
You counted 14? Well, then she's
Yeah.
up and swimming.
That shrimp's right there on those.
I've got,
She was right there on the plant in front,
yeah.
but I don't see her now. And that was definitely a her, because she's,
Oh,
Yeah,
I just saw
yeah, I
her swim
saw
up
her
the back of the
move.
plant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're working on the diatom in the